is a bit dramatic, isn't it? Anyway, it's been like that for years now. So it's the line. Thank you so much for joining me from wherever you are joining us. Indeed, it is Mayegun Live, and please read beyond the caption of the broadcast. Read the description of the broadcast. Like it, share it, invite your friends, invite your not so friendly friends. Tell them that Mayegun today. We are starting tonight with what we already knew, or maybe not how. And that is how APC, Egbekegbe, rigged the Edo elections. Of course, in the next few days, they are going to have the APC, Egbekegbe's government, sworn in Edo State. Or maybe, just maybe, for the sake of posterity, we should lay it bare to the rest of the world that needs to know how did they do it. APC, Egbekegbe, and INEC, the way they operate in the contraption is not hidden. To them, they will rig you, and you can have all the evidence, right? Then, what are you going to do about it? Go to court. They are already waiting for you there too. No matter the evidence you present, their court will say, no evidence. But like I said, for the sake of posterity, I remember when we were doing everyday expose on Tiflumbu, on this platform, I remember some of the Ronukus of today, the bad start of today, the bad idiots, including the Abrodian Ronukus, the Buaridins, the Buari Bideris, the Buari Binotus, the Buari Dijatus, the Buari Shukus, the Unekaharis, the Ungoziaris, the obedient fools, the voluntary slaves, the humbled slaves, sophisticated morons, the crumb eaters, the crumb chasers, the ass lickers, the all risers. They were always camping on Mayegun's diary political. They are always reminding me then, or telling me then, that I can go and bring all the evidence in the world. If Numbu will be your president, and there is nothing you, Mayegun, can do about it. You can continue to cry. If Numbu, the druggie, the drug dealer, the drug pusher, the jaga banditi, the jaga addicti, the Ashiwaju àwọn olè, Ashiwaju àwọn agbèrò. Most of those who were voluntary slaves, waiting to kind of harvest our tears. Today, they are everywhere, screaming and crying. Ebim power o. Nobody else they cry now. This was less than 2 years ago. In fact, even after the whole rigging, they came back here. Ooh, Mayegun. Tifnumbu is going to be president. You can continue to cry. 8 years. 4 + 4. Tifnumbu 4 + 4. Like the leprosy fingers, like that. I said no wahala. Amen. 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 Today, less than 18 months into what is still going to be 40. 12. That's going to be 48, 96 months. 96 months of your shege, renewed shege, from change of Bokwari to next devil of Bokwari. They no learn. They came back here to tell me that now renewed shege we go for. Last, it happened. Kalu bought his way in. Today, those who never japa out of Nigeria. Some of them, they don't japa into the koto, want to cool. Some will never die. They are like walking corpses everywhere. If you see them on the road, they are only existing. They are not living. Today, they are back on Mayegun's diary political. Are you mocking us? Instead of all of us to come together and speak up in one voice, everything to matter here. Everyone come together. Come together to do what? To stand up to call Ogun. So today, they are asking me stupid questions on Mayegun's diary political. Even though there are still some who used to be like, on a spam pass, they shall die. On a spam, I know they see them again. I stand with Tifnumbu, Ebitipa, want to cripple. They don't get leg to stand anymore. But that doesn't mean that they are not still there. Today, they are now looking for patriots. We are all one. Let us see, this is our leader. Mayegun, you cannot be criticizing people because of their choices. It's a democracy. It's a democracy. So let us, instead of all of us, to come together and then find solutions. Solution solution. That is a soda water. Pẹ̀lú àìjík, fàìjík àti kí ló ti ń pè pẹ̀lú milk. Àti bóyá bí, I don't know, ṣàkó kó mix ẹ̀ papọ̀. Ó ti yẹn sìn, you are of no use to humanity. So to say, similarly, if you have those who have told you, go to court in Edo, leave them. In the next few days, APC, Ebekebe, will be in charge of Edo. But at least, for posterity's sake, we will leave this for our children and children's children and tell them how APC, Ebekebe, destroyed what could have been a democracy, how they robbed people in broad daylight, and they told them to go to court. So there's no point in going to any court. However, like I said, let our own children wake up one day so that the criminals that they are likely going to try to change, to try to whitewash them and tell our children like they lied to us about our heroes past. Hawaii and our heroes past. Heroes past, Nigeria no get any hero past. Now criminals that were not detected before they died. And they said that if animals are allowed to write their own history, there is nowhere, any chapter that they will glorify the hunter. Because they will tell you how scared some of these hunters were when they were trapped by the animals. But now the hunters, they write the stories of the jungle. That's why they will tell you how other people like Perry person will use cap to kill an elephant. Because elephant no fit defend himself. Elephant no fit right. So for the sake of our own children, we will leave this for posterity. How did they do it? How did they do daylight robbery? Daylight robbery that grown-up men and women defended. We'll put it out there. And that's exactly what they did in this chart. Some group of people came together to monitor the whole thing. It was a daylight robbery, no doubt. According to them, the result on their own IREF. IREF is that machine they used to, capture the registered voters, capture the accredited voters, and then capture the number of total votes that were casted, as well as the supposed the result sheet that got uploaded onto the IREF. The court one, the one that they take capture na Beavers, the one where they take record result na IREF, and that one is online. So, despite the fact that INEC, listen to this, because I remember they did the same thing during the Tifnumbu time. Mumudu Yakubu announced Tifnumbu at 4 a.m. as winner. When everybody went to the IRF to go and check the results, Tifnumbu was losing. In some places, they actually uploaded the image like that. Something like that is the result of some polling units. You go there, you want to go and check your results, presidential results. It is a selfie photo of some of the electoral officers. That was their result. But Mahmudu Yakubu announced the result and said Tifnumbu scored 8.9 million votes. But the day he announced that, when we went on to the IRF to check their results, guess what? Out of 167,000 or so polling units. They've only uploaded just about 40% of the whole thing. Less than 90,000 polling units of results were uploaded, but they've announced the winner already. Where did you get the result you announced? Mahmudu Yakubu, they said go to court. If you don't go to court. In Edo State today, people went onto the IRF. They supposed a legal platform where the result of what happened in Edo State was uploaded. And guess what? Now PDP win there. APC second. But the result announced by the Edo electoral officers declared APC winner, PDP loser. But for the record, like I said, here is what they found. Let's start with that tonight. No, don't worry. I can be very dramatic sometimes like that. I hope the message is not lost on you, Sha. I know you are all laughing. No, don't laugh. Be laughing matter. Here, let's start with this.
App Initiative for Citizens Development. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning and thank you for having me.
Good morning. Right. Now, after that, big introduction, and you have embarked on a fact-finding mission to understand what really transpired with the Edo State election. I first want to understand what your motivation is. Who are you and why have you gone on a mission with all of these documents and all of the evidence to try and understand what happened during the election?
So TAP Initiative is a non-governmental organization that is into democracy and good governance, and we also do a lot of work around accountability and holding institutions of government accountable, justice reforms, judicial reforms, and INEC as well. And we've recently been in the forefront of trying to reform INEC to also change the burden of proof from saying that the people who conduct an election should actually have the burden to prove that they conducted the elections correctly. And if you don't do that, we'll continue to go around the silos to say, whenever a candidate loses an election, he then has to prove, or he or she has to prove that he lost the elections, when the burden should actually be placed on INEC. And because of this, it is very incumbent to say, you know what, we need to really go into what happens in INEC. INEC is actually the institution that keeps the admission or the recruitment process that brings the key players of our democracy into light. And if INEC doesn't do well or is not held accountable or responsible for the things that they do, our democracy will definitely crumble in the nearest future because there will be no hope anymore. So we then discovered, because we also followed the elections critically, I was in the situation room of Lead Africa in Abuja when people were on the field, and we saw the kind of things that were happening. And when I saw the results, it was quite interesting to see what then was announced, or when we were watching and following the results. So it became much more interesting to find out what really happened. And then we made applications to the INEC to say, okay, can we get the results you're using to... Yeah. If you look at the signature, you realize that the person, the returning officer, the presiding officer, sorry, that's a different signature because they hurriedly rigged the elections. I mean, this is very appalling, because what we normally see before now is that political parties rig elections through overvoting and other means and all that, maybe tearing ballot boxes or ballot papers and mutilating them. But this is institutional rigging perpetrated by INEC, and this should be a concern for everyone. So if you look at it, you'll see that the signatures are different. Not just that, we contacted one of the best forensic experts in handwriting in South Africa. He is the one who actually verifies whether Nelson Mandela's signatures are actually original since he passed. So he's the one who identifies that. So he's an expert, and this is his expert statement to us. The statement was released to us, or the examination report was released to us on the 29th of October, 2 days ago. And that's why we haven't come public, because we're waiting for that result to happen. Now, if you look at this is his report, right? Q1, Q2, Q3. You identify that it was one person in INEC who sat down and did all this handwriting.
According to the forensic report.
According to the forensic report. So if you look at it, Q1, Q2, the same thing that he used to write this. So if you see 20, his 20 is the same, his 3 is the same, with everything across board. So I'll give you the forensic examination report and you look at it. So it is appalling. And I think this should frighten everybody. If we do not want to practice a democracy, we should just say we don't want a democracy. We just want to appoint people to go and sit. We shouldn't be budgeting billions of naira to organize an election that INEC will bundle. We shouldn't raise the hopes of people to say that you should come out and vote, participate in an elections, do your civic responsibilities and perform your duties, and INEC will bundle that. That is frustrating, and that would actually lead Nigeria to mayhem if we are not careful in the nearest future. So for us as an organization, we are not stopping here. What we are actually going to do now is to file this to ICPC. ICPC has to charge and prosecute these people for the criminality that they are perpetrating, from both the INEC rec down to the presiding officer and everybody that is involved, including the head of legal in Benin, who is actually the one who issued the CTC copies to us and to every other person that has actually applied. So we are taking this up, and we don't take it lightly at all, because the will of the people must prevail, and people should be determined enough to choose. I mean, people should be the ones to determine who leads them. And it's very, I'm surprised, basically, because political parties, the opposition parties, are just there. They are not serious about, after conducting an elections, following through things to the little and the details of it. They just feel elections are over and everybody just goes back home. Maybe just go to court and do one or two things. But I think that politicians and political parties need to be invested in this thing, because if citizens give you the trust and feel like they should support you, they give you their money, they give you their time, they give you their vote, they invest their emotions in your campaign, you owe them that duty to protect that mandate and that love and translate it to something tangible and meaningful. Whatever it takes. People cannot be risking their lives going out and be shot or killed or beaten on the queues of polling units, and then elections are over, you just sit down, fold your hands, and don't do anything. You should be happy.
Thank you, Jerry, for your work. Okay, because there are people like that guy in Nigeria. We appreciate their work just by exposing these little things that are really big things. They are not little. Atiku spent over $1 million in America trying to prove to all of us, say, Tinubu na proper, what do you call it, certificate forger. Went on, David Dundeyi risked his life to give you every detail with evidence of Tinubu's drug dealing and his wife, Remy, Benga, Akonle, and so many other people who were part and parcel of that drug pushing ring. Today, the drug dealer, drug pusher, Tinubu, is your president. David Dundeyi is outside Nigeria. And I promise you that they are doing everything to make sure that they give him the same Nnamdi Kanu's treatment by hunting him down to bring him to Nigeria. Today, Tinubu is doing shege to all of you. And all of this evidence that were presented to your Nigerian judiciary, they became not only blind, though, they became deaf and dumb. And they legitimized this drug dealer as your president. Today, some of these Ronukus, Ronu Nazis, the bad stats, will be asking you for evidence. Do you have evidence of this thing? You see, if they arrest you now, yeah, they do say that to me. You are calling him a drug dealer, Abi. They say you have evidence. If they arrest you now, everybody go, they say, free Mayegun, free Mayegun. Do you have evidence? Because Nigerian judiciary, that they presented all this evidence to, they became blind, deaf, dumb, intentionally. So now, all these forgery signatures, expert proof, now in the cocon take serious in their courts when they all know what they are doing. Good work, oh. Again, I have to give it to you. See this lady. She gave a presser, I think it was about 3 days ago, talking about the same INEC. Now, I mean, INEC of Nigeria is a threat to Nigeria's existence, Nigeria's security, Nigeria's safety. So many things shall we be INEC be. What about judiciary? Listen.
How are you living your own life today for tomorrow? Because Nigeria will stay. All of us will come and pass. We are passengers. He has lived his life. And so when I was consulted to look at how do you secure, 2027 general elections, and I'm just wondering, secure? That's a tall order. What are we going to do? What are the things what approach can we look at? So I looked through some of the introduction, the current context and challenges of the elections that we have today, which has been, a lot of it has been spoken, about by Comrade Sam Amadi, looking at the measures for the 2027 general elections, addressing the electoral violence, also inclusion and the issues of gender-based violence, and then international collaborations and also observers. I will conclude and then look at some call to action. The 2027 general election is coming at a time where everybody is exhausted. There's a lot of exhaustion coming from citizens themselves because we are looking and seeing what did we do in 2023 and what happened to the off-cycle elections. Some of it has been pointed out already. When the 2023 general election happened, we used to have civil society organizations, and as some of you may recollect, I led the Nigerian Civil Society Situation Room as a convener, aside from being the country director of Action Aid then. To the 2023 general election, after whatever happened during the election, INEC, in its usual manner, called all of us to a post-meeting or to a meeting. We used to have quarterly meetings with INEC to tell us exactly what is going on. And we had this meeting, and the first thing the chairman said was, we are about, that he was not going to talk about the 2023 general election. He was going to talk about off-cycle election. And I was dazed. So if we don't talk about what we have done, which amount was voted for, budget was given, what did you do with the election you don't want to explain to Nigerians? It was shocking for me, for many people to sit in that meeting. Immediately, when the media went out, I found my way and I also walked out because I felt that place was no longer for me. And so is a test for our own electoral process, is a text for dignity. How do we focus and look at the current challenges and then leverage the data-driven strategy and also complying, looking at the technology which we are supposed to use. Now, the current context, you are looking at the political landscape, a political scene that there is a kind of which is highly competitive. You have APC, you have PDP, you have the Labour Party, who are the major, political parties. But I can tell you that INEC is struggling. None of them has a registered voting, they don't have a register. So you can boast, we have 30 million people. Where is the registrar? They don't have voting. So there is no political party with a population. Where are the books? And these are things that INEC itself has been looking at. There is no political education by the political parties. They are supposed to conduct political education, but you only see people during their campaigns. Where is the political education? Because you want your members to vote. Or it's because voting is not important, it will be truncated, so there is no need investing in voting itself. You have electoral violence. The 2029 election and also the 2023 general election showed us so many violence, a lot of violence. Almost about 100 people died during the 2023 general elections. We're looking.
data is not their thing in Nigeria. Okay? APC will tell you, we are the biggest political party in Africa. We have 50 million. We have 100 million supporters. PDP will say,